And it's day 2 of Karnataka Assembly session, and Leader of Opposition Siddaramaiah has written to the Assembly Secretary to take up the issue of flooding in Karnataka, saying it will be taking up the matter in the question and answer hour in the Karnataka Assembly today. Now, the session is expected to be stormy as opposition parties are gearing up to corner the Bommai-led BJP government on a slew of issues ranging from corruption charges to alleged scams that have rocked the state, to the rain shame exposing the crumbling infrastructure. All right, this is day 2 of the 10-day Assembly session of Karnataka, and the opposition is set to corner the government on the flood shame. In fact, the Leader of Opposition, Siddaramaiah, has written to the Assembly Secretary to take up the issue of flooding in the question and answer hour of the Karnataka Assembly today. The session is expected to be stormy as the opposition is gearing up to corner the Bommai-led BJP government on a slew of issues ranging from corruption charges to alleged scams that have rocked the state, to the rain shame exposing the crumbling infrastructure. So day 2 of the 10-day Assembly session in Karnataka, and Leader of Opposition Siddaramaiah has in fact written to the Assembly Secretary to take up the issue of flooding in Karnataka. He said that he will be taking up the issue of the matter will be taken up in the question and answer hour in the Karnataka Assembly today. And going straight across to my colleague Neha, who is joining us live on the broadcast. Neha, it is day 2 of the Karnataka Assembly session, which will be held today. And we do know that Siddaramaiah has written to the Assembly Secretary to, in fact, take up the issue of flooding in Karnataka.
Well, that's absolutely right. You know, we're expecting a stormy session today and for the next 9 days, as the opposition in the state of Karnataka is ready to tear into the government over, the lapses as far as the recent infrastructure, was concerned to do with the rains. It's important here to mention that while, of course, the opposition was going to be raking up this issue, we're now actually seeing how even the former Chief Minister and senior Congress leader Siddaramaiah has written a letter here. He has, in fact, gone on to request the, Speaker over here to actually ensure, and the House Secretary to ensure that this issue actually comes up and is discussed at detail. So, while of course on one hand we're already seeing how the encroachments that have come up right now and that have been identified for demolition, several of these encroachments have interests of various political leaders over here. We'll talk about 2-3 of these encroachments. In fact, the Bagmani Tech Park over there that has been identified, a part of which needs to be demolished, has interest. We are picking up right now a few BJP leaders, in fact, have interest in that as well. And that apart, also another property that's been listed over here also, that's said to be demolished, or at least has been identified. Of course, we'll have to see if it's demolished. Happens to be the property of Mohammad Nalpad, son of Congress leader N.A. Harris as well. So, this of course really boils down, while it was raining, while the encroachments over there, had encroached upon the stormwater drain, we saw a political blame game over here beginning in the state of Karnataka, with the BJP and the Congress blaming each other for having sanctioned permissions. But now, when it's actually boiled down to the doorstep over here of whose property is really going to be razed and demolished, that's the big question that would be coming up in the Assembly today.
Right, Neha, many thanks for sharing all those details.